Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, we're going to watch a horror movie here called Audrey Rose. Let's check it out. Alright, our movie starts with a car accident. Fast forward about 10 years from that car accident. This is New York City. That's Marsha Mason and her daughter, Ivy. And they're being followed by Hannibal Lecter. This is Marsha Mason's husband, Bill.
A couple of weeks ago, I spotted him on the bus. I was going home. He looked rather familiar to me, like I'd seen him somewhere before.
Oh my God, Bill. It's Ivy he's after.
So they're convinced he wants their daughter. They receive a letter with some information about him.
London, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Wife, Sylvia Flora. Daughter, Audrey Rose.
One day, Janice, that's Marsha Mason's character, is chasing after Ivy.
She's waiting in the lobby for you.
And she runs right into Mr. Elliot
You talk to
Hoover.
your press on the sidewalk.
We must talk, I'm certain now. Please.
His daughter died in that car crash.
I had a family, a wonderful wife, and a lovely daughter.
Annette, my daughter's name is Audrey Rose. And what you're saying now, you're saying reincarnation? I mean, is that what you're saying?
There's no mistake, Mr. Templeton. Because the very moment I saw Ivy, I could recognize all the subtle qualities that once belonged to Audrey Rose.
Mr. Hamilton, we haven't finished. Yes, Mr. Hoover, we have finished. We have listened to your story. We're very sorry for you. But I want you to leave us alone now. Don't follow us and don't phone us. Your problem is not our problem.
Back at home, Ivy's been having nightmares.
You know the pattern. They come and they go.
Nightmares about burning in a car,
Good. I want you to invite him to your home.
says
Are you
attorney.
crazy? I'm not going to let that lunatic into my house.
Bill, I'm your lawyer. I need to know what he's all about, what he's after.
Audrey Rose died October the 3rd, 1965.
That's Ivy's birthday.
Audrey Rose died approximately 8:20 in the morning.
Ivy was born at 8:22.
Ivy's having her nightmares again. She's freaking out.
Ivy, baby. It's Mommy and Daddy, honey. Wake up. Ivy.
Notice her hands are burnt. And only Mr. Hoover can calm her down.
It's me. It's Daddy. It's Daddy.
2 years ago they happened in October, and when she was 6, remember, they happened at exactly the same time.
Janice, please.
How did she burn her hand?
On the radiator.
The radiator was nowhere near the window.
What?
Audrey Rose having more nightmares, freaking out. There's the cover of the box. Mr. Hoover's there again, and again, only he can calm her down.
It's Daddy. It's Daddy. It's Daddy. It's Daddy. Sister, please.
Listen, your daughter is in mortal danger.
My daughter's soul returned too soon.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, your daughter? Her soul? This is my daughter we're talking about, my child.
The soul of a child is crying out for help. We must form a bond so tight and so filled with all the love that you have, all the love that I have, that we can mend her.
That's right. Yes. He also scares me and he panics me, but he comes in here and he calls her that name and she hears him. She listens and goes to him.
More of the same.
Janice, help me. It's Kaplan, honey. Stay with me.
Mr. Hoover showed up. Now Mom is starting to defend him. but Dad isn't, and they got into a fight. He took her. He actually is subletting a place inside the same apartment building where they live.
He's kidnapped Ivy.
So with the aid of the police and the superintendent, they go in and get Ivy.
Police officer, first class, badge number 1433. You're under arrest on suspicion of the felony of kidnapping.
Right now, and
So they all go to court.
My heart that this child lives.
She lives! Audrey Rose lives!
Her soul has crossed over.
They shield Ivy, but eventually news gets out at the school where she's at.
We found it on one of the girls, and now it's all over the school. In spite of everything we tried to do to shield Ivy, we... Audrey Rose. Audrey Rose. Audrey Rose. Hey, Audrey.
She knows the truth. She knows in her heart that I'm her only hope, if her child is to live. So please, do as I say, and put her on the stand.
Screaming.
Even though it was in the same accent with Audrey.
Screaming.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
I do now.
Mrs. Templeton, do you believe that your daughter Ivy is the reincarnation of Mr. Hoover's daughter, Audrey Rose?
Yes.
They want to put her under hypnosis now.
The court permitted a witness to testify
Ivy.
after undergoing hypnosis and did not consider it an abuse of discretion.
I won't have my child submit to it.
Mrs. Templeton, I have been personally assured by the psychiatrist that no possible harm can come to your child as a result of the test. Now, please try to understand.
Oh, that you're deeply
So they place Ivy under hypnosis.
You're gradually moving back in time. Back, Ivy. Back in time.
Mommy?
They take her back even further then. It turns out she's remembering events of Audrey Rose.
Mommy! 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 Mommy!
Chaos.
Her soul is set free.
But then she dies.
Her soul is free. Her soul is free. It is free.
Even though he still cannot accept the idea that while Ivy's body is gone, her soul continues to exist.
All right, let's talk about Audrey Rose. This is a movie that I have not seen in a very long time. I've only seen it once before in my life. When I started taping movies on SP Speed on VHS tapes back in spring of 1992, this was one of the earlier new films I recorded at that time. Probably taped it in April, May of 1992. Watched it then, hadn't seen it since. So it's been over 30 years since I saw this movie. Only thing I remembered about this movie was Anthony Hopkins saying, "Audrey Rose, Audrey Rose." That's it. So anyway, it starts out with a car accident. Audrey Rose, a little girl, dies in a car accident in 1965. Anthony Hopkins, who plays Mr. Hoover, is her father. Now, her father learns over the years and becomes a believer in reincarnation. And he gets images, and I'm not sure if it was dreams or what, but somehow he finds out that his daughter was reincarnated, or he believes she was reincarnated, as this little girl named Ivy, played by Susan Swift, who is the daughter of Marsha Mason and her husband, whose name I can't remember. Whatever. So he tracks them down in New York City and follows them and stuff. And eventually he introduces himself to the couple, and they think he's crazy. Of course, naturally you would. But Ivy's been having these weird dreams about car accidents and burning and fire and stuff. And the only thing that calms her down is when Mr. Hoover is there. And at one point, he says, come to daddy. And she says, daddy, daddy. And next thing you know, it does in fact appear that she is the reincarnation of Audrey Rose. ultimately, Hoover wants more involvement in her life, and the couple disagrees, of course. But Marsha Mason, the mom, starts to become a believer that, yes, maybe their daughter is reincarnated from Audrey. Somehow, Mr. Hoover, at one point, he almost kidnaps her. I guess he kind of did kidnap her. He was arrested immediately, though, like, moments after it happened. They end up going to court. And on the stand, Marsha Mason admits that she believes in reincarnation, and that she believes that her daughter is, in fact, the reincarnated soul of Audrey Rose. Well, they decide to have some sort of experiments on her, putting her under hypnosis, and turns out under hypnosis she does, in fact, relive the car accident and everything, and then ultimately she ends up dying. She ends up dying there, and then it kind of ends with Marsha Mason communicating with Mr. Hoover, I think it was by a letter, saying, I'm glad you went to India, and our daughter, you took her ashes there, and we believe that her soul is now being, born again somewhere else, that sort of thing. So it ends on kind of a low note with Audrey, that's her in the picture, Ivy, dying. So there you go. That's Audrey Rose. Now, this was based on a book, a novel. If you ever see the novel, look it up online. Brooke Shields was actually the cover art. She posed for the picture as Audrey, or Audrey/Ivy in that box. Now, the movie itself, it's a little long. It's 113 minutes. It could have been maybe 20 minutes shorter, but it ain't bad. It ain't bad. It's just kind of a little bit of a thriller, an interesting little thing. But yeah, I got nothing bad to say about it. It is what it is. No nudity in this movie. This is probably rated PG. Yeah, it is PG. Not even really much violence other than the car accident. Just kind of an interesting little story. There you go. It's Audrey Rose. I have no idea if this has been released on a Blu-ray. I wouldn't be surprised, but whatever the case is, I will leave a link to something down below for you to buy. So check it out. Leave some comments on what you think about Audrey Rose. Watch it. Bye.